Are you tired of feeling like there's never enough time in the day? Imagine a world where you could save hours every single week by making small changes to your daily routine. In this video, I'm going to share the secret weapon that top companies like Toyota use to maximize efficiency and eliminate waste, and show you how you can apply it in your own home so you can make a smoother, more productive life. Welcome to the world of continuous improvement. Let's get started. Welcome to Lifetime Engineering. My name is Randall Ferguson. I have been a manufacturing process engineer for over 20 years. I am extremely involved in continuous improvement, and I have used it for many, many years. And it is a superpower that anyone can use, and I want to teach you how to use it. What is continuous improvement? At the heart of continuous improvement is a mindset, and that mindset is fairly simple. It is being able to look at any issue that you're dealing with or any problem you have and ask yourself, is there a way I can improve this? Is there a way that I can eliminate some waste from this process or from something I'm doing and make it better? The key question I find that I need to ask every time I'm looking at a process is, have we always done it the wrong way? Because you never know how many processes around your house you've been doing the wrong way your entire life. And that's what continuous improvement is about. It's about re-examining all the processes that you have around you and asking yourself, can these be done better? Can we make these more effective? Can we do this another way? And that is at the core of what continuous improvement is. While continuous improvement is a mindset, there's also a good definition to it. And it is a systematic and intentional method to eliminate waste and improve processes. Continuous improvement consists of 4 primary steps: plan, do, check, adjust. The plan, do, check, adjust cycle, or PDCA cycle, is the heart of continuous improvement. And this is a simple acronym to enable you to understand what you should be doing when you're looking at continuous improvement. Let's go through the cycle. So let's start with plan. You start off with a plan and you ask yourself, okay, I have this issue that I'm looking at. And you say, how can we make this process better? Or what can we do differently with this issue that I'm dealing with to make it better? The second part of continuous improvement is to do. This is quite simple. You just do what you planned. So based on what you planned in the first phase, you say, okay, we're going to go out and make these changes. We're going to implement the changes. We're going to teach people about what changes we made, and we're going to move forward. The next phase is the check phase. In the check phase, you check and see what is happening with the process that you've changed. You have changed this process, and now we are looking to see what are the effects of this process on everything downstream. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this adding time in some other area that we didn't anticipate? Changes to a process are not always positive, and you need to make sure that you check to make sure they're good. The next phase of this is the adjust phase. And this is maybe the most important, and this is a phase that many people forget. This is where you say, okay, we have checked to see if this is going well, this is going bad, but now we need to adjust the original plan and make it so it works better. And then we're going to do the whole cycle all over again to make sure that our adjustment improved everything the way we anticipated it would. This is how you do the plan, do, check, adjust cycle, or PDCA. So let's look at a real life example. Let's say you have this problem where every day you are losing your keys and you are having a terrible time finding your keys every day. Each day you waste maybe 5 minutes just looking for your keys. Okay, so we're going to start out with a plan. I can't seem to find my keys. Maybe I need to just designate a spot to put my keys every single day. And that way, it will always be there and I won't ever have to look for my keys. So now we're going to actually implement this. We're going to designate a spot in the house. We're going to say, okay, this is where the keys live. And you're going to tell your family, hey, everyone in the family, if you see my keys, this is where they need to be put if they don't happen to be someplace else. And then that's where they are always going to be put. You put the keys there when you come in first, and that's where you get them when you go to leave the house. You let this process run for a week and you look to see how it is working. Is it making your life easier? Is it saving you time? Is it more effective? You don't know how your life is going to be impacted by this change. Let's say you have designated a home for the keys, but it is in your bedroom upstairs, far away from where you enter the house. You might find that, yes, you have a home for the keys, and now you aren't losing your keys, but now you're having to walk all the way through the house just to put your keys in the designated spot. And then every time you go to leave, the keys are way far away and you have to walk there to get the keys every time. This doesn't make things easier. This is actually making it more difficult. And while you are saving time not looking for your keys, now you're losing a whole lot of time because you are having to walk all the way to your room to get your keys. This is where we go and adjust. Now that we know that there's a problem with the process, we say, okay, having a home for the keys is working very well to make sure that we are not losing the keys, but it's adding a whole lot of walking to our process. So how about we move the designated spot for the keys to be someplace closer to the garage door, so that way it is natural and in a place where you would grab it as you're entering or exiting the house. You then implement this change. You do another do phase. You check after a couple weeks. Oh, great. Now I'm not losing my keys, and now I'm not walking all over the place trying to get my keys. Perfect. We find that the system is running well, and we don't need to change it anymore. This is a simple process improvement. And I recognize that many people do this every day. They look at things that they have around the house and they say, oh, this isn't working well. We should change this. This is really doing that, but being a bit more intentional about it. We are taking a look at this closely. We're running through the steps in our mind. We are making sure that these processes are working correctly and analyzing this. Now, throughout Lean, there's a whole bunch of tools you can use within the plan, do, check, adjust process that make this even more efficient. But we're not going to get to that just yet, because right now we just need to get you to the point where you're examining some of the processes around you and improving them as best as you can. So continuous improvement. We now know what it is, and we've seen it in a rough example, but why should we really use it? Well, the main reason why we should use it is because this methodology has been tested many, many times. This methodology is used by millions of companies and is saving companies trillions of dollars every single year. The other reason to use continuous improvement is because of compounding effects. Each time you improve something, you are able to make something just a little bit more efficient. But then you add another continuous improvement action on top of the original action, and now you're saving even more time. And what you find is that as you spend more time improving things, you're going to get back even more time, so that way you can spend that time elsewhere. It's important that we look at this and we say each day there are a few things that we can examine and maybe improve. I try and spend at least 10 minutes each day trying to improve something in my processes, because all of those improvements add up and make it much more effective for me as an individual. Another aspect of the compounding improvements is that improvements that you make younger in your life are going to carry throughout your entire life. So it's really important to say, okay, if I look at all these things I'm doing when I'm younger, these are going to carry forward to when I'm much, much older. And these improvements are going to last me throughout my entire life. Continuous improvement never goes away. And being able to utilize all the improvements that you've stacked on top of one another, eventually you will find that you are far more effective. A good example is that when you're new to any job, or you're new in the career world, you lack many of the basic skills that you need to succeed. And your first year, you're really struggling to try and figure out, okay, what do I need to do? How do I do this? What's the next step? But then the second year, you aren't struggling as difficult as you were the first year, because you developed some of your systems in order to address all the challenges that you're facing on a daily basis. That's what we're dealing with here. We're just supercharging your ability to improve everything that you do and enabling you to improve those processes as you go. Now, continuous improvement isn't just about saving time, but that's our primary focus at this point, because to me, time is the most valuable resource that we have. And particularly in the home, that is the resource that we are always struggling to have more of. We find that we want to spend more time with our family, more time with our friends, more time doing fun activities, and being able to free up more time for us to do all those things is really a benefit for everyone in our family. So how can you implement continuous improvement at home? I spoke about doing the plan, do, check, adjust process earlier. And if you were in a big company and you needed to do a continuous improvement event, that would actually be something that might be a few days in the making, right? You'd have a day where you plan, a day where you do, a day where you check and adjust, right? Those might be multiple days. And while that's great for a company, that doesn't work very well for a household. You need to kind of keep in mind that the PDCA process is just a framework, and you can scale it up or scale it down depending on how complex the process is. If you want to change a big process in your house, that's going to affect everyone in your house, your kids, your wife, everyone. You are going to say, okay, let's get everyone in a room and let's plan the change. If we need to reorganize the entire house and like add labels to everything and make things easier to read and all these different details, that's really great. But you need to take the time to plan it out, do the action, check that it's working effectively, and adjust it as necessary. Now, if it's something that's more simple, like, for example, the car key situation, you can just do all of those steps in your head. You can say, okay, I have this problem. Okay, here's my plan to address it. I'm just going to make the change. I'm going to tell my family real briefly at dinner time, hey, I made this change to my process. Make sure you know that this is what I'm doing now and help me out with this. And then check and adjust as necessary. These don't always need to be something that's written out or it's like hard coded, right? This is something where you can scale it to match whatever situation you're dealing with. Here is an amazing example of continuous improvement that I recently implemented in my house. I think everyone should really implement this, and I think this is a great tip for anyone who has kids. So the problem that we had was that we frequently had dishes in the sink, and the dishes would collect there, the food would get hard, it'd be difficult to clean and difficult to deal with. And our kids were not necessarily bringing the dishes to the sink so that way they could be addressed, or they'd bring them and they just kind of leave them in there. The problem is that, okay, we have these dishes, but this is really adding a lot of waste to the process, right? We want the dishes to go immediately from being used to being in the dishwasher. That's what we want. That's the end goal here. So what we implemented in our household is we said, as soon as you are done eating, it is your job, whoever is eating, to take your plate and your silverware, rinse it off quickly, and then put it into the dishwasher. This has been a little bit challenging at times because our kids are getting used to this new process. But because my wife and I are doing this every single day, we are implementing it. We are using this process. They are taking cues from us, and they are actually following the process now. And it is far more efficient. And the reason it is more efficient is a couple things. One, this is an example of one-piece flow. We will cover one-piece flow in later videos, but essentially what it boils down to is you don't want to set things down and let them sit and then come back to picking it up, right? You don't want to handle it twice. You only want to handle it once, right? So if you're sitting there eating and you immediately pick it up and take it to the dishwasher, that's much more efficient. The other thing is our children were not chipping in and they were not being utilized in terms of dealing with these dishes. Now that they are doing this, they are taking part of actually making this clean, and they have embraced this new change, mostly because we as a family are doing it all together. This is far more effective, and we are really loving our new lifestyle. I will say, checking and adjusting this is that we find that our kids now, they need to maybe be instructed that, oh, when I empty out my bowl into the sink, that they need to wash out the sink so that way there aren't Cheerios stuck to the side of the sink. There are some trainings that we need to do to make sure that they're doing this properly. So speaking about this dishwashing routine, it really has had some compounding improvements within our household. And not just the fact that it's saving time for my wife and for myself in terms of handling dishes, but it is also teaching our kids responsibility. And this is something that can't be overvalued. Continuous improvement, when implemented in the house, can help teach your kids many, many valuable skills and help them later on in life. So now you know how to implement continuous improvement, and you have seen a few good examples of how to do it in your own house. Now, I challenge you to go out and implement a continuous improvement initiative in your house today. You will find that is far easier than you expect, and you will immediately start seeing results. If you implement a great continuous improvement action in your house, please let me know in the comments section so that way I can share these valuable time-saving skills that you've gained with the world. It is also important to take this initial action just so you ingrain this in your everyday attitudes. I have found that the biggest challenge with any new process that you want to start and ingrain in your life is just doing it the first time. Once you've done it the first time and you see the benefits, you will start to see that you can definitely implement more continuous improvement actions throughout your day. I have many videos planned out that are really going to help supercharge continuous improvement and help you really become super productive. So if you want to see more videos like that, please like and subscribe so that way you will get notified when the next video comes out. I appreciate you joining me. Have a great day. Bye.